Hi, and welcome. I'm going to, before we get started in this meeting, I think I will just introduce myself. My name is Suzette Ballard, and I'm a retired superintendent. From just a little farther north, I was in Orange North Supervisory Union, which was,
Williamstown, Northfield.
And then we merged with Northfield, and Roxbury went to Montpelier, and I'm a Montpelier resident, so just know that that was politically not okay. And but Jamie and I are former colleagues, and when he came down here and then I retired, there's been a couple of opportunities that he's asked me to help him with some of these activities. So it's been great. It's been a lot of fun. I really I've sort of adopted this supervisory union in my own way, and worked with some folks from this area on mission and vision maybe a year ago.
Yeah,
it's like a year ago this time.
Yep.
So anyway, it's really nice to be back. So today, the agenda that we have is pretty tight, and it's accurate, except I am going to move in the discussion section, this review the charge. I'm going to move that down to, where is I going to put it? Oh, right before, to make it 6.3, before plan the next meeting agenda and homework. But we'll talk about that next. But anyway, just as a way, because I don't know, I think probably some of you know each other and know each other as well from the community or from the schools and things like that. Others are, maybe you've seen each other around town, and in other cases you have no idea who you are. So what I'd like to have happen is that you just talk to an elbow partner, somebody that's the closest to you, and it's these 4 questions. You need to find out from your partner's name, the town that they live in, what they do in their real life, and then what brings you here. So basically you're interviewing each other, and then we're going to ask you to introduce each other rather than just say that about yourself, okay? Those 4 things are up there. We'll give you a few minutes to figure that out. Mary, you and Keith are together. I'm out. I'm the odd man out. Perfect. Then you get to decide who your leader's going to be.
You are Keith. And I get to introduce you and pronounce your last name correctly.
Yes.
Okay. Can I try?
At the Z. Make believe it's not.
Just get those kids outside. Let them
Spent the last 11 years at Gifford in hospital administration.
Close enough.
And I'm here just like you. Maybe kindergarten with Henry.
Ever since second?
Ever since second grade. And I feel like maybe if I can guide anything or help.
Maybe my
Yeah.
he told me.
Wendy told me last week.
I guess I'm questioning a little bit about like what we're doing, but I feel like having a voice at the table.
Can't hurt, right? Yeah, that's kind of how I felt too. I was like, I don't really know what we're doing, but if something's going to happen, I'd like to know it. Yeah.
I feel like I'd like to help with the wondering in front of a store. And I made it.
Right, okay. It's just become like that is, I haven't spent a lot of time in this, so it's interesting. We've gone down to Pittsfield and had some meetings for our forest, our farm and forest to school effort that we've been talking about at Stockbridge, so it's, there's a whole different really somewhere to do out here. Okay, and what do you do in your real life? You like what do you right?
That's the one. I couldn't remember the name. Yeah, I knew that. At a very difficult, pivotal.
So does everybody work at the school?
All right. What brings you here?
Just an interest in the school district.
Well, just made the meetings beyond stressful.
And
So I'm hoping that if it gets to that
We're gonna put a
level,
little bubble. No, seriously, because it's about a force field. Like, listen, it's not me. It's the situation
true.
that we find ourselves.
It was a lot to bear for all those years, and
God, I had no idea.
yeah, I definitely. I mean, if you think you talk to like Ethan, like we all look like we were war veterans together.
My name is Michelle.
It was one of the most.
and spelled
SCHE.
I coach and
And I live in Springfield.
Coach the Stockbridge, Rochester kids, which is a
Doing
lot
a
of
great
fun.
job.
Yeah.
I
I tried.
lived in Central
Last night was
for a
rough.
number of
night.
years, and I taught there at Springfield school.
Yeah,
And
I
Owen
asked the
Bradley was
kids
my
if they wanted
principal
to go
at the
home.
time. And a high
got
school
that back.
history teacher. I've spent 27 years. How long is that?
It's an hour. Yeah.
All of my
Just a lot of hands-on.
Yeah, 9 through 12, I was in Springfield,
lot of
so it was
things
9 through 12.
Yeah.
And then
Screeching and making all these noises and kicking the balls and bouncing, like running into the walls. And,
teaching civics. And so I did a lot of community action projects. That sounds like so when this position's community.
yeah.
Well, like, I was like, maybe they just got enough energy out so they don't do that.
But this was at the end of practice, not the beginning. The beginning, they started off great.
Yeah.
The last like 20 minutes.
This is to like expand, just holding 250.
Doesn't surprise me that he's a few minutes
Well, I
late.
think you need the girls up.
And the first year was focused
The
on
girls
that.
were at
The second
program when I
when
I came over.
Third year, I was able to go to other schools in the SU, so we established.
So with the trailer,
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
How do you we did a lot of support for some expanded, like winter wellness activities and things like that. Things that were.
that was the end of practice.
Okay, anyway, and what brings me here? I'm a community school board member, so this is heaven. This is heaven to me, right?
Okay. Doug, you're on.
All right.
Introduce your.
Katie, sorry, last name I didn't get.
Styles.
Stiles. Katie Stiles lives in Stockbridge. Katie has a son in kindergarten and is here to help navigate the future with being a part of the community.
Awesome.
And Katie's in the catering business.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. This is
One
Doug.
of the most fun part of what you will really do. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome.
This is Doug. Doug has 2 kiddos at Stockbridge. Hazel, who's in kindergarten, and Everett, who's in 2nd grade. They live in Stockbridge. Doug works at Gifford in hospital administration. And yeah, parent involvement.
Welcome. Great. Dakota.
Yeah,
And we'll make you a name tag and then you'll just have to.
and you're in Brandon.
I am.
She's the principal of Stockbridge and Rochester, so it's fairly easy to interview one another.
This is Dakota Stenner, and he lives in Hancock, and he's a project manager in the construction world. He has 2 kiddos in Rochester, one in kindergarten and one in 3rd grade, and he's also just super invested in the future of our schools and what's going on.
Awesome. This is exciting. Oh, I'm going to go ahead? Okay, this is Keith. You made it. And Keith's last name is pronounced Splecki.
Spelunky, you got it.
Spolecki, okay. And Keith lives in Stockbridge, and Keith is retired, and he travels and he plays. And he's interested in how our community interacts with the larger community, and that's why he's here.
And this is Mary Shell. She lives in Springfield. She's a former history teacher for grades 9 through 12, and now she's involved in the community engagement aspect of the district, and it's nice to see her here.
This is Megan. Megan and I go pretty far back because I got to teach her 2 lovely girls in kindergarten when I taught kindergarten in Rochester. And Megan has been through some things as far as experience. Beyond the beautiful flowers she assembles for weddings and grows organically on her farm up on the hill, she has done work with the study committee in the past and school board work. And so has experienced sometimes the realities of what we face and deal with. And let's see, she's brought here because she shares a passion for rural life, for rural education, for education in general, and for our town of Rochester, where we both reside.
Yes. Thank you. This is Amy Bond, and she has 3 children, all went through Rochester. I'm not sure if we were fortunate enough to graduate any of your kids.
Not out of the building.
Out of the building.
But out of the town.
Out of the town, absolutely. She lives downtown. She puts on a fabulous haunted house on Halloween. She cares deeply about our town, rural living, and our school. She teaches at the Rochester School and Stockbridge School, doing outdoor education, and she was also previously to the Rochester-Stockbridge School. I first met her when the Hancock School still existed, and I think I was handing out fishing derby
I do
flyers
believe
to you.
that was true. Yes, yes,
And,
yes.
and the Granville school still existed back then too.
So yeah, in a way, yeah, we connected on that level, but that was '09 when the Hancock Granville School closed, and I was the last teacher to ring the bell. And so yeah, it's one of those passionate things for me where I really do believe in our local.
Yes, I think we've seen a lot of changes.
Yeah. Oh, we're hobbling.
A lot of changes. But
All right.
glad to be here.
Thank you, welcome. And Patrick, you're going to introduce yourself.
I'm Patrick Hudson. I live here in Stockbridge. I grew up in Stockbridge. I came to Stockbridge Elementary. Now I have 2 girls currently here and 1 that will be here in a few years. I'm on the school board. I care deeply about my community, about the kids, and so any free time that I have is pretty much about them. So what is it? What brings me here? Yeah, the kids. Really, the kids is bottom line for me. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I got a good feeling about this. This is good. These guys are that's awesome. Makes it much more fun. So the first order of business is always the most fun. That is, you need to pick your leadership. Technically, because we are a committee of the board, we have to elect, that says appoint, but however you want to do this in terms of consensus. We need a chair, a vice chair, and a secretary. So the chair, basically, I'm in contact with the chair sometimes as we get rolling in terms of what makes the most sense for the next agenda. What are the next steps if we haven't already decided at the meeting beforehand, which most of the agendas will be set for the next time before we even meet here. So there's no question about that. But it's a person that besides Mary, that I do a lot of bouncing of ideas off of. The vice chair is available, sort of the jack of all trades, whatever we need. Step in for the secretary if they're not here. I will bounce ideas sometimes off of them, but we need a backup person to start the meeting, technically. And then the secretary does do minutes, but the minutes really we only record actions, and we don't take any actions. When we get to the place where we're really strategizing about how we want to get the information that we want to get, which we haven't decided yet, when all of that stuff is decided, then there might be an action. But I can tell you, I don't believe that there was ever a motion on the floor with the last group that I worked with. So, and a lot of what we do is we're creating documents and creating things while we're here. And so it's really just everything is in progress. We keep things electronically, and I think most of you, if not all of you, filled out some stuff, in terms of how you like to receive information. And we'll figure out the folks who would rather, as we get documents that we need to review, who wants them electronically and who needs, if there's folks that would still like to work with paper, we can make that happen. So there's not a lot of responsibility with this. Most of the in-between work will fall on me. And Mary has mentioned it. So, do we have anybody that's interested in chairing?
I'll do it if.
Nobody else did. No, that's good.
Take it on, sure. Let's do it.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Patrick, are you good with that? All right. I'm just going to ask you, yeah. Vice chair?
I'll do it.
Okay. Doug. Excellent. And then secretary. Is that what we call him? I guess we do. Task force secretary. I'm looking at the.
I don't mind. I mean, when I was on the
Okay.
school board, I did do
Oh,
notes,
okay.
so I'm like, if there's a time when we need notes taken, I don't mind doing that.
Perfect. And like I say, it's really simple. It's just,
Yep.
and if you work on your computer, you could actually create them while you're right here.
Yes,
and hit
Jenny
the
Austin.
forward button to Christie, and life is good.
Yes.
So, yeah, the only thing that's regular in terms, I would say we do take action. We have to approve minutes every time we meet, but that's about it. So I think we're good. Awesome. Well, that was quick. Yay. So the next order of business is to decide how we want our meetings to run. What do we need to have in place to make certain that we're bringing our best to these meetings every time we come together? So sometimes it's food, sometimes it's start and end on time, those kinds of things. So you all have access to Post-it notes, and if you don't, then rip some off and hand them to your neighbor. But what I'd like each of you to do individually, one idea per Post-it. So some of you may have 10 Post-its. What are the things that you need to have in place so that you bring your best to this meeting? Okay? Everything's on the table. And if you missed anything that's on my list, I will put it in.
For justice.
No names, but, okay? Yeah, so one idea per Post-it, that's important. You can have more than one Post-it.
That's what I can use right now.
One person talking at a time, talking on time, reiterating the same idea over and over again. Going over your materials before you get to the meeting. If you have to miss a meeting, catching up with somebody else.
Do you want to
This is my list. This is my list. Starting it on time. Stay on task. That's my job. Yeah, all of that stuff. The stuff that when you sit in meetings and you're wanting to do this, or you're just gritting your teeth. Because this is extra. And it's important to me that you bring your best, but also, like I said before, that you feel like you're doing something, accomplishing something. It feels good to be here. And I think that's where these norms and these things become really important. And then it'll be my job to hold you accountable to them. I'm the one who takes the heat. No, just keep going. No, it's good. No, I will wait as long long as we need to wait. We're going to put them together, don't worry. We good? You can always, take your Post-its with you, and I send you to your places here, just in case you see, if you think of something. But, so, are we pretty much done? We ready to roll? Okay. So I'm going to break you into groups of 3, which I think probably will just be well, I kind of hate to do the tables, because you've already talked to each other. So we'll make Doug and Patrick and Keith a 1, Katie, Lindy, Amy, our 2s, Dakota, Mary, Megan. Good job. Our 3s, okay? Don't go anywhere, but table 1, table 2, table 3. We might just, Amy, I think those are your coat. You can go. So what you're going to do is when I release you to go there, is you're going to put all of your Post-its out on the table, stick them down. Everybody read everybody's and take a look. And you're going to see some overlap. And then there's going to be some that you're going, oh, yeah, I forgot about that one. And then there might be one like, oh, we forgot this, so I'm going to put this one down, and we'll just stick that. So once you feel like that represents everybody, then I want you to take some time and get them into categories. I'm not going to tell you what those categories are, but you'll see the overlap, and you'll see they'll fall into little groups, and then there'll be a couple of stray things. And once you have that and feel good about it, then the post paper, the big paper, is for you to begin to take those categories and put them into a sentence. Now, what will happen after that in the end, we'll get an opportunity to look at everybody else's. And then I'll take all of them home and put something together that represents all of you, bring that back to the next meeting. You'll review them. I'll probably send them out before we have the meeting, the expectation being you take a look and decide whether you agree with it or whether I missed something, so that you can come and tell me that. And we can fix them, and then we'll adopt them, and that will be how we do business. Make sense? Okay. So first step is that's table 1, so 1s go there, table 2, table 3, and you need to put all your Post-its out and make sure you've got everything covered, and then put them into categories. You have questions? Yum it. Hey. And don't forget the food. The food is good. I'm just passing through there.
Good to see you. Thank you so much. Keith, how you doing? Nice to meet you. Doug.
All right, shall we?
I've spoken to you.
Yeah, don't put the Post-it on the. You're gonna write on it. Sorry, yeah, Post-its go on the table. That's the right one.
That's definitely the right one. All right, so do you want to go first?
I just figured organization.
I agree, because I kind of have like agenda. Or we can't.
Take proper steps and take proper action.
Yeah, what kind of information though are you?
Just general information.
No, that's okay. We haven't heard from them about what they envision, or at least I haven't seen it.
Well, that's the thing. We, as a board, didn't feel it was our job to decide what our vision is.
We go up to that work with our.
Well, that was kind of the. Well, correct. Yeah. So that's where it's like I think we want to be creative in the fact that like as we get into this, just what is it that the community is looking for? People like yourself that are retired versus a current parent. What are their interests? What are their desires?
There's going to be some overlap, and there's going to be some
Absolutely.
contrary.
No doubt.
And, okay, I just wasn't sure if the board was just going to let us run wild and do what we want to do.
I think that's why they have my son. But to kind of help guide it essentially. For one, it was like, okay, because there's been so much question about do we merge schools or do we merge grade levels or do we, it's different.
Drastic changes for sure.
Correct, so, yeah, exactly. So it's really trying to get an understanding of the desire.
He came in really, he wants to cut the 52 to 5.
Yeah, that's.
This is serious revenue.
I agree. That's one of my thoughts, is like stay on task.
You don't like that? Stay on task, direction, right?
I say one conversation. Focus. We're having a conversation as a team. I want to like no side conversations,
Thank you.
Post a general conversation together. That's kind of what I'm
Allowing for weight and time. And don't wait.
Exactly. This is what we need to discuss. What's our? It's on note. That's where we as a community, we're coming together and saying, what are we
They're doing it too. How we want our meetings. So can you take?
I think that's like.
correct, and that was as a board, we noticed that after, and we're like, we need to find a way, because there's obviously laws we have to follow for checking in and everything, but it's like, if you come up with a better solution where it doesn't feel. Yeah.
I think your dispensory kind of falls.
Okay, so what makes us
Is the public invited to these meetings? Okay. We'll put it in a transcript.
Yeah, kind of keep it more
So now we want to come together?
Yeah.
Just making sure everybody's voice is heard.
Like, norms, is there like a norm?
that kind of falls in line with.
Respect.
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was, I think it's well said that I turned out 15 to take over the high school. Rochester alone had 600 people. We voted on $4 to $5 million budget, and less than 150 people voted. That's sad.
I don't disagree.
Yes. You said that and it was struggling to how to write that. So when you said that, I was like, yeah, we're struggling. It's kind of here too, yeah. Yep. Get the charts in mind.
Creative solutions and thoughts.
I think this is really like communicating. Like very top is the most important thing.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes that's where things are actually that. And sometimes it's easy. It's always just pointing back to
It's going to be a yeah. Yes. Okay, second door item.
Yes.
I don't even know the agenda, but just the dates.
That's what we decided. Just from my personal experience, if I have time to go home, it's really hard to come back when it's 12 degrees or most beautiful days. And so an hour and a half is like my max. I feel like an hour is not long enough, it's too much. So that's what I'll be looking for, is early and every other. I think once a month is rough. to get done when you want to get done. But that, I think it's better to have those scheduled in, and then if we decide to go once feelers out this information, might come back in, so I don't really have it.
Especially as again, every other week.
Yeah,
And then,
it's always better that way.
we could try.
I think the biggest question at our table is winter.
Yeah, and that's, we'll be here to talk about that.
Yeah.
Really flesh that out.
Okay,
Community task force. So they make recommendations.
On the far
And
of the right
then
farm.
the board has to write decisions.
They do,
It's like a big
but
little
this is
lunch.
information, my understanding, I mean, I don't like that, so when Jamie and I talk about it, they work people's time, because I'm gonna ask a lot. And, it needs to be worth it. So it'll be comprehensive, and, he assures me that this is information.
Yeah.
So I would say that that's not a problem.
We have had a lot of conversations around our vision, like where we want to see now that we've merged, what's the next step as a community now. And we didn't feel like that was something we should be making a decision on, there are 6 people, and that we need to get involved with our goals. And not just parents,
Right,
not just staff.
community and community at large.
Yeah.
And entirely two different lenses, and
Yeah.
entirely oftentimes different sets of perspectives.
Yeah.
So important about that, because that's the crux of our resource.
Or the design.
What's that?
Personally, I'm like, there's no way
How do we advocate for the body?
I would like to see the. If anybody's ever run,
Oh, yeah. I know that.
So for the children, more safe.
Yep.
So having teachers.
I didn't appreciate
But then another circle, another, bring something else to the table.
Well, that's part of what we were trying to figure out.
Which I knew was coming, which I knew that was
The work that I just did, I think it was run. A number of people, for example, their big thing is do they put all the schools together from there? And there's a lot. Pretty like not representation. Well, we didn't have a huge response, but what we had was
for this
right?
mission.
People are looking at that a little bit differently. And to tell you the truth, parents are moving through. What was really important is that in the elementary schools, for example, stay separate. Your kids can now in middle and high school. She won't now though. It's like the preschool.
Right.
Can be really vocal. They're
Is that right here?
down here, and then they're off to so that's where the sort of, what do we need to do in the long run?
Right.
And what makes the most sense. So that's for later.
What do you want us to do with these? Sorry,
This
you want
is,
us to transcribe it?
yeah, just transcribe, but I'm gonna keep all of these so that I know where you're thinking.
Geographic, but also.
Oh, yeah, they should benefit. Because they have to. We have to.
My husband was
Right, now we're
We're gonna start with, what do we want to call, categories?
I like your organization. Just feel
Enable it and organization.
We can't get it in there, so
Direction.
It's at the center of our.
Yeah. Is this direction of meaning or is this direction like our end?
Again, it's almost what I'm looking for, it's direction.
I think direction of meeting
Yeah.
and goal of this task.
is that right?
You have 5 categories or 4?
Yeah, meetings. So maybe we can have organization, call that.
You got general organization. And then we get respect.
Okay. So do you want to do one as agenda? The organization.
Yeah, well, agenda would be part of that, so let's do, like you said, I think general, right?
General organization kind of keeps us rolling to know what our end goal is. Like you had great points, Keith. Like, where are we headed? Like what are we doing?
So,
I'm totally in the dark.
agenda, right?
Well, these are almost all related.
There.
These three and this.
Yeah, we can keep two.
Agenda, stay on task, direction.
Make it two categories.
I'm putting agenda under it, right?
Yeah. No, that's great.
Okay,
I can
and
keep rolling.
then,
You can keep rolling on
I'm
that.
just going to take
Yeah.
these off as we put them on the list.
I kind of feel like Keith's pointing at
so, order, right? Order is,
order. Yep.
What hour is it? Don't we be like-
Basically, this was the title. You had end goal.
So let's go.
You had proper time to review documents.
proper.
You're like bodily charge?
Same.
Proper P-R-O-P-E-R.
I know end is right.
1P?
Take care of your.
Thank you.
No problem.
I was like, that doesn't look right. Review docs.
And then it's like, I guess we're just contemplating whether or not we leave, like staying on task and direction in
And I
general
guess my point
organization.
was to get constant feedback from the board on,
General organization, I think, yeah, staying on task would go there, right?
Staying on task, I agree.
You're a bunch of dudes, look here, organization.
Boom.
Emails or texts, I'm like.
That's how I live my life.
Or email.
Yeah, we want to call this, yeah. Yes,
We will, emails, we will have clear.
Yes, there is enough.
So this was more like our strategy, right? Or like overall. Is it strategy? So it's idea of immediate challenges, timeline, and an understanding of yourself. So this is like more like district and state level, sort of?
I think it's like overall impact of like the bigger.
So bigger picture, small impact, or impact, bigger picture.
I definitely think communication is one of them.
Yeah, let's do communication.
So we have clear, concise, and
Respect.
but we already did another category, but that's
I
fine.
guess sensitive.
We have
Not
honest
overscheduling
communication, streamlined.
due to outside.
Just go honest because we're the communications up there. And then streamlined,
Individual voices are heard.
streamlined.
Everyone's voice.
That's what we got.
Yeah.
We'll come in soon.
Have open minds, I guess.
And assuming that everyone has good intentions.
Yeah.
And we'll gently hold each other accountable and to, you know. Again, to henceforth.
Yeah.
Have open minds, what do you say? Assume good intentions.
Assume good intentions. Feel like you're holding each other gently accountable.
what they like to see us come. And they want us to talk about consolidated.
I think they want all, I think we want all of it. Yeah. Well, no, I think
Yeah.
that,
I mean,
for instance, when we start this, it's gonna be like.
I would not.
It's gonna go into that, authorized into a Excel format.
And I guess just remind, if you can also remind each other that we all care about it.
So, I think that we start, yeah.
Like, really, I'm sure what this committee will do.
So, you see a
That's something
value.
that our mother, so it's nice. It's good to remember that. At the end of the day, we're not community members.
Where's that not going? Social more.
It's nice in my community, but I think it's so.
Yeah.
Where do you actually talk to kids about it?
I think so. I'll look it up, but I'm pretty sure.
I don't know the writer on that one.
But social minded, like open-minded.
There's not many of us.
Keeping the charge.
Because that's easy. Well, no, I know, but then it's, we ask the question.
Sometimes.
Speak one at a time.
Yeah.
Honoring others.
How many per ultimately perfect children?
So they,
And then transparency.
No,
like Jamie has.
Now, this is what you know, we're coming together. You're learning yourself.
They've done this in some other districts already.
Right, an idea of
So I think they have a lot of.
Oversight?
Oh, yeah.
That's what you just say. Or the town's like.
You are thinking big picture. He's one of you.
Didn't get that.
Huh.
Yeah.
Constructive.
Run a business. I'm guessing.
So we need, I think we need another,
Can I go look up mooring? I just want to see if it's.
direction slash. So with that, feedback from the board, right?
Yeah.
From the school board?
Yeah.
2 years I spent at the tech center.
Keith is like, wants to know what is the board looking for out of this survey?
What's the
We
strategic
have,
thought?
we don't know what to serve. We're going to leave you directly at the charge
Yeah.
tonight. And if it's not clear, we're going to send you back and say, okay.
It almost looks like s'mores.
Yeah.
Better information.
Okay.
But basically, once we get the charge figured out, and what we'll do in the next meeting, your homework, a heads up, will be to read the charge, think about it, think about the questions that you want to
S'mores
answer.
without the S.
Who has those answers? How you might get those answers, and come with that all recorded someplace for you. And then that's what we will work on in the next meeting, is that will become this huge document that says, this is all the stuff we're looking for.
Yeah.
This is who we think has it, this is how we think. we
And that's
get
kind of
it,
what I was
blah, blah, blah,
saying, is like, as
So
a
that's
board, we
how-
were having that conversation, like,
Yeah.
okay, we merged, we got through that, but we all kind of feel like we could be providing more for the kids and for the community with what we have than the current,
Really disruptive.
than our current, what our,
Or is it 6 board members? Like
well,
limited
just,
to that?
well, how we have 2 schools right now, K through 6, or pre-K through 6 in each. Is there a better way of structure? But we were like, okay, how do we go about exploring that without actually having a clear understanding of what the community prefers? Like, we can say all day long, hey, it's gonna make sense if we all go to Rochester, but until we hear from the community in Stockbridge or Rochester, that's something
Yeah,
that.
what are they concerned about, what are they worried about? That's the really
But I think the board has
best
perfect
work.
coverage.
I was looking for references for her, Police Academy. She's awesome. She's really good. Yeah.
Yeah,
And the board has covered some bring up topics like that.
yeah.
She was like, I'll work anytime.
Expression you guys do, this, this neighbor wants you to do that.
Well, she's always been like.
I guess the state would say, if you have less than X amount of students in a school, you have to consolidate.
Yeah.
And that would give the boards cover to make the tough, they're not making the decision. The decision would be made.
But also, And that's what I also wanted to say.
Oh, yeah, of course.
I ripped up the guts.
This is Hannah too. All right.
I'm loving that. Isn't that gorgeous? Is that one of my, oh my gosh, I love it.
Okay, Libby. Well, it's wet and out in the hallway, so let's.
I love it.
Having this better than
Okay, so we're gonna.
I think it works.
Patrick, we're going to look at these, just look at other people's. If you have a question about one in terms of what people might, what the intention is, if you don't understand their shorthand, or you have to get closer to read it, which would be me.
Great flow chart.
Was not my idea.
I see the teacher hard at work.
If someone says a flow chart, I can.
It's like visual people.
Look at all the snacks.
Daddy?
Are we stuck close to each other? Are we reading it on our own or out loud together?
Well, you can, I want everybody to read their own, and then you'll read your own out loud, and we'll talk about what you had.
I think that's that next piece on there. There's like,
Whoopsie, sorry.
This is the jump rope.
not that I could gross it.
See the rocks jumping?
Full sentences.
So Mary, how about your group read, how do you want to do this, to read it and just explain it? Explain.
Should we take turns at reading the bullet?
Sure, we can do that.
Okay.
Sure. We will plan ahead, come prepared, read and respond if necessary to all the emails.
We'll have a clear agenda, consistent start and end time, sensitive to not overscheduling.
We will remain respectful, have open minds, assume good intentions, and hold one another gently accountable.
We will remind each other how we care. We all care about our community.
Awesome. Questions for this group?
There's a lot of overlap on these three.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it, you know,
Yeah.
really, without having to talk about it.
We're
as a
all
big group.
like-minded.
Linda, your group.
Yep, so we wanted to remind, like with kids at the center of our focus and our process. The idea that it breaks into kind of like three categories for us, like our administrative needs, to start and end on time, take care of your needs, bathrooms are through the chores on your right, you should have said that earlier. Have snacks, nobody needs to be hangry while we're doing this. And be prepared ahead of time, whatever that may look like for this group. Then we broke it into communication, having a clear and concise agenda, make sure we're being honest, open, but also streamlining our thoughts and ideas, and then just being mindful of time, right? Like everybody's really busy, so make sure we're being efficient. Allow for wait and think time to process, because we're gonna be talking about a lot of stuff. Not repeating ideas over and over again, even though these do, that's the purpose of this, right? And then other things that are kind of like social norms when you work in a larger group, being open-minded, keeping our charge in mind, one voice at a time, honoring opinions, being transparent. And then this concept of like oversight or the bigger picture, like what's the district timeline or the board timeline? What are some of the immediate challenges that our teachers, staff, and kids face with whatever comes out of this? And then just understanding the budget and how that can or cannot support whatever direction we head.
Okay. All right, Patrick, your group.
So we kind of highlighted three categories: general organization. So under that, having organized meetings, having a proper agenda, order to the meeting, having an understanding of an end goal to say each meeting as well as this task force, having proper time to review documents before the meeting and standing on task during the meeting,
or staying on task throughout this process, I should say. Then meeting values, having one conversation, respecting each other, and making sure everybody's individual voices are being heard, and they feel like they're being heard. Teamwork, working together, collaborating, and allowing creativity and thought, and kind of thinking outside the box. And then task force direction and objectives. So what direction are we looking to move forward with this group? Again, kind of overlaps with, what is our end goal, and what are we trying to aim for here? And whether or not with that, getting more feedback from the board and maybe some more information. But yeah.
Questions for anybody?
We were talking about the end goal too at our table a little bit.
Yeah, I've made some assumptions, and I would try to fill some of those holes for you, that you actually know why you're here. You actually know what you signed up for and how long you signed up for it. And we'll talk about it in a couple of minutes.
I thought it was just about the snacks.
We're not going to wrap this up tonight.
So I think it's exciting work. I think you'll be excited about it. And so this is good for me to hear. I'll try to, like I say, fill some of the holes tonight. And then at our next meeting, we'll work down the work. But. Okay, so I'm going to take these. I do need the stacks of Post-its. Okay. And I think I can figure out which one.
She didn't know that.
Yeah, I did not. Got them all now. That's all right. I just want, when I put it together, I want you to know where it is. So, perfect. Back to your spot. Thank you. And I will put all that together and come up with something for you to ponder the next time we meet. Okay.
What's that?
How long are we going to do this?
Another hour, 40 minutes. Okay. When you girls go tic-tac-toe or something?
Tic-tac-toe, go!
Okay. I keep moving this to the charge of the task force. Let's go there next. Did we give you a copy of it? It was in your welcome letter? Was it in your welcome letter?
It's in the welcome letter.
We didn't tell you to bring that, it's fine. I can read it to you. The Community Engagement Task Force is charged with collecting data from a majority, that's a challenge, of the Rochester-Stockbridge Unified District stakeholder groups, whom they do not name, on the current successes, desires, and improvement ideas/strategies of the Unified District, to share a data report for the RSUD board that will be used to inform strategic planning for the future of the Rochester-Stockbridge Unified District. Okay, that's a run-on. You want to hear it again?
Yes, please.
It's kind of everything.
First half, second half, I just kind of.
Let me grab it again.
That's right, in the
Huh?
email you sent us?
Yes, and this is the kind of thing that is likely to appear at the bottom of every agenda. This is the kind of thing that I like to have. Norms will be on the back, the charge will be on the front. You know, nobody's going, what are we supposed to be doing? No, it's right in front of you all the time.
Okay.
So, but just to have a sense of what we're doing. So Jamie sold it to me this way.
He's a good salesman.
So I was doing the one for RUD, and I said, okay, we're not doing this in the summer again. I said, no. I mean, it was fabulous, but it just, people weren't available. That was the problem. We were trying to, the group was available. Our meetings were well attended by the task force members, but trying to get any kind of surveys out at the end of the school year jammed up. We were trying to get students and that kind of stuff. So we had to redo it in September. So it really is just things you learn. And so he's hoping, and I'm hoping too, that we'll have something for the board in May. So this is really through not through the summer, through the school year. It's possible that the report to the board might be in June. And basically how that works is that once we get our data and put that kind of stuff together, I'm sort of charged with writing it. I write it, I share it all with you as we go. You say you caught it, Suzette. You say, Suzette, I don't know where you got that stuff, but that's not going in the report. You know, those kinds of things. So you review everything that goes to the board. And then at the actual board meeting, my plan is that the committee will go to the board. I'm going to stand up. The committee will go to the board and actually share different parts of what you found with the board that night, because this is your work. I'm sort of the guide in terms of helping you try to figure out what's the best way to do this. But I work for you, okay? So, you know, I anticipate, they didn't name the stakeholders. That's good. I think that's partly of what you have to figure out. And so at our next meeting, what will happen, you will have homework, and I will repeat this at the end, is you will go home and take a look at this charge again and decide individually what are the questions that you want answered. And then think about who might have those answers. And then how might we get those answers? Is that through a survey? Is that through a community meeting? Is it through, we've got an opportunity coming pretty quickly, which is town meeting. You know, is there something that we could jam together and take advantage of town meeting? Even if it's to have a moment to talk at town meeting about what we're doing. Look, you know, we'll be, at that point, we'll have a little better idea what we're doing, but, you know, we'll be trying to get this information. You know, if this comes in the mail, pay attention, please, blah, 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 blah.
There's also a chili cook-off on February 9th at the Rochester School, which is a PTO event for both schools. Maybe there could just be an opportunity with a pad of paper and some pens put out for what people are looking for and
Absolutely. So
interested in.
that's what you need. That's what you need.
A box, there's the
box
idea.
and people
Yeah.
can put anonymous questions.
And that's what needs to go on this
So-
list, for you individually, everything that you can think of. And then the next time we meet, what we'll do is we'll put all of that together into one document that we'll share with you, and then we will work from that to, again, categorizing things, categorizing by what stakeholder groups we were looking, you know, to get this information from, what, you know, depending on who they are, what's the best way to get this information, blah, blah, blah. And then we get going. It's a lot of fun. But that is the structure of the work. And so now what we need to do is we need to decide how often we're meeting. My personal experience around this has been every 2 weeks, every other week. And what we would do is we would schedule them out all the way to the end of May. Or when does the board meet?
It's the first
Monday of the month.
Okay, we're going to say June 1st. That's what we're going to
Yeah,
head
because
for the
May,
June board
the beginning
meeting,
of
'cause-
May is the budget vote too.
Yeah,
So
okay. So
I
we'll
don't
get-
know that
yeah,
that
we'll
would
get
be the
pushed off to
ideal
the
time.
First meeting in June, but we'll get it. We'll get those all out so they can get into people's calendars. And then if for some reason or another we don't have enough information to really have a meeting, I'm not all, you know, I will come to really appreciate all of you, but I also will not have you come in for a meeting that doesn't need to happen. So if we need to.
I am a big fan.
Yeah, I heard that. You know, I got it written down. The other thing is as we get closer, but we'll know this by, you know, April, is that we might have one that's two that are right together, back to back, based on, Jamie will want the report to go out in the board packet.
The Thursday
And,
before.
you know, so there's other sort of deadlines. And once in a while, we might need to get together to sort of plan the board meeting, but it's a quick and dirty thing. And if not everybody can make it, we'll just make sure that you're assigned the most difficult part of the board report, and life will be good.
Is it possible to keep meetings on Thursdays?
Yeah, that's totally up to you.
Just because of my schedule's set.
Yeah.
Thursdays work for me too.
Yeah.
I mean, Thursday is fine with me.
And in the same location?
What's that?
Same location?
Yeah, I think that, does that work for you?
It does for me. We rotate for board meetings, so whatever works
It's up to
best
you
for
guys.
the
If you
group.
want to rotate, we could rotate.
I think it
You know.
mostly depends on where you're individually coming from. It's not a board meeting where
Why don't we
you
keep it
have to be
simple and
available
just
to
keep
both
it in the same
communities.
spot?
It starts getting complicated. You drive
Instead of going
far.
just-
I'm
Just
already
keep it
here on
here 'cause
Thursdays.
That's
Doug-
fine.
Randolph.
Comes
The
from
kiddos that are
okay.
playing sports
It might actually
in
work for
Rochester
everybody to
are
keep it
already
here.
driving
Yeah,
to
I can make it
Rochester,
work.
so to be fair, let's just
Okay.
keep it here. I'll drive here.
Yeah, you're one of the
Yeah.
furthest.
Thank you, Dakota.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're, yeah.
Awesome.
You're the furthest one, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
perfect.
That makes it easy.
Cool.
Not looking forward.
The other thing is the time. Now, I think 2 hours is too long. You can override me. I think 2 hours is too long. I don't think an hour is enough. I am a real stickler on starting on time, and I'm a real stickler with ending on time. So, you know, I land on the hour and a half. Again, you can override me, and then we can adjust it if we need to in the future. But my personal experience, 44 plus years in education, is if I have a chance to go home before the meeting, I might not come back in. I will definitely come back out. But the earlier times, the 5:30 times, if you can make that, you get home by dinner. We'll make food a priority so we're not hangry the whole time we're here. But I think it works better in the long run for families. But you have to decide that yourselves, whether that makes the most sense.
Yeah, I can't do it any earlier, so.
It's
5.
5 good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can,
Is 5 o'clock work?
yeah, I can.
Awesome. Let's do it. So, Mindy, I'm going to ask you to just, because you have your calendar open.
Yeah. Sorry.
Is
Paper
to just
calendar.
go through the other week. It does, if we start this now, we will skip February break, which is good, because that's always
Yeah.
a question.
So it looks like February 6th.
We'll send these all out.
Yep, February 20th. March 6th. March 20th.
Okay, you already put them in there.
I have to. April 3rd.
So Feb 6 is the first one.
Yes. And then here's the question for, the next one would fall on April vacation. So does that work for folks or not work for folks?
I would stay away from any vacation times, just because.
So would you want to, so I'm going to, your kiddos have 2 different April breaks.
Yeah, exactly.
So do
shoot,
we
that's
want to
right.
go 2 weeks back to back in April, and then that way we avoid April vacations?
Actually, don't, my kids are in 2 different, thanks, I forgot, we have February break the same, not April break, it won't matter. I'm like,
Okay.
I'll be probably
Eventually
not
the goal
going
is-
too far
Yeah.
that week, those 2 weeks. So actually.
I mean, we
I'm
can
good.
leave it.
Or we
could go the
everybody
20
every time, but if
or
we
we
already
could-
know that people are going to be
Yeah,
gone.
I will be out of
You're going to
town there.
Disneyland. Then let's just schedule it when we get closer.
Yeah.
So
We
4-3.
can say, oh,
Yeah, maybe the end of each meeting, we just make sure if
Everything
anybody has
consistent.
conflicts for the
Yeah,
following meeting,
absolutely.
we have time to.
yeah,
Reschedule.
So we're
that's
going
great.
through April 3, is that?
Yeah, so April 3rd, April 17th, May 1st.
Yeah, this is going to be good. If we keep our foot, whatever that thing is.
May 15th.
Pedal to the metal.
Pedal to the metal, thank you.
And then May 29th would be the last one before the board meeting on the 2nd.
Yeah, no, I think that's perfect.
Okay.
That's after Memorial Day?
That's right up against, is it against, no, Memorial Day, it's the
That's
week
before,
before.
yeah.
Yeah.
Or that week.
That's
or
right.
that Monday.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so we'll get that out to you in an email so that you have it. 5 o'clock is it, awesome. Thursdays is it, that's awesome. And my plan will always be to be here in person, so don't worry about that. We also we have not set these meetings up to be, they're open to the public, but not tried to do them through
The
a
hybrid.
virtual meeting, just through a telephone if they want to. We never had anybody with the Red folks that wanted to come, but we will do a telephone connection in case you are somewhere and just can't get out, but you want to get your ear in so that you can phone from home. And we'll just, you phone me and we'll put your phone, put it in the middle of this. But that works sometimes. You just run into kid practices
Or work.
or somebody's sick and you're
I was
on,
gonna say,
somebody's sick and you're on
Runs
duty, you
late.
know.
I can't see it.
Yeah.
So, Yeah, so that's really close to it. The other piece that I think is important is that there is this spreadsheet that has your personal information on it. It has phone numbers, contact information. We did rename it. That is a confidential piece of paper. I mean, you are all public people, but I just think that we don't give those phone numbers out. You know, if you run into somebody that's looking, I mean, nobody's going to be looking for it unless they catch you at a baseball practice or something and say, oh, you're on this committee. Do you have so-and-so's number? And the answer is no, I don't. There's lots of other ways to get it, or I'll give them a call.
Texted it out.
You know, it's on front porch forum. I think
Sorry,
there's
everybody has my
personal
number
emails and
anyway.
things like that, but I just think it's just the most respectful thing that we can do for each other. And it's not, you know, I mean, it's being filmed, people can certainly contact people. I'm not trying to get people not to contact us, but there are other ways to do it. And anyone is welcome to come, so. Questions? Yes, ma'am?
Are we Robert's ruling?
I don't think it's necessary.
Okay, I was
If we
curious.
need, yeah. Like I say, we don't take a lot of action. I think that the one you had, I think it was your group that had talked about the, what did you say? No repeats?
Yep, watch that, Mark.
No repeating ideas. We've all sat in meetings where you've heard the fifth version of the same idea. If that happens, that's partly my responsibility. I will be gentle, but, you know, I will smack you. And the rabbit holes, I mean, we do try real hard not to get a side conversation going. I am the queen of the pregnant pause, and it was 40-plus years in education, really good at it.
Just gonna wait it
The
out.
death stare. Yeah. So part of my responsibility is to help us stay on track, and but I will do that in a respectful way, and if they're good ideas, we'll put them on a list, and I'll just simply, it'll be great idea, not for tonight, sticking this on a list, we'll get to it another time. So we're not going to shut anybody down, we're just going to say this is.
No bad idea list.
Yeah, no. Well.
It's all relative.
Mental.
You do need to remember you're being filmed. Once in a while, I will forget. I haven't gotten in trouble yet, but boy. But anyway, so we are scheduled. Am I at the end of the agenda? The next meeting date is
February 6th.
6th. And you want me to repeat the homework? Okay. You're going to go home. In your welcome letter, we will send this all to you in a single email. But if you want to get started, if you're one of those that needs to start it tonight, then you're welcome. Study. Not me. Study the charge. And write down all, and I mean record it, either in your phone or on a piece of paper or something, not just, oh yeah, no. This needs to be a list, because it might be a list that you actually over the next 2 weeks say to yourself, oh, I forgot that, and you need to write it down. It won't be a one-time sit-down list and you're done. Is to decide what the questions are that you want answers to, based on what we're looking for. What are those questions? So, and then who might have those answers? Are they students? Are they parents? When you say community, are you talking about the school community, or are you talking about the community at large? What community are you talking about? Are you talking about Rochester, and Stockbridge, or are you talking about surrounding folks that maybe you're trying to, for tuition purposes? What is all that? What are those questions, and who might have the answers? And then again, what might be the best way to get them? And I think every stakeholder group is a little bit different, but that doesn't mean that we can't do it in lots of different ways, in terms of meetings or surveys or suggestion box, or having a meeting at the local elderly, what's the word I want?
Senior center.
There you go, senior center. What's the best way to get folks? And I think that, one of the things that when you're asking for what folks want, but you're also asking for change, my experience has been that you need to dig for what people are afraid of. What are they afraid of? Because if you're going as a board and as a group going to recommend change, then you've got to have addressed those concerns before you try to get somebody to change. So if money's it, I don't want to lose our school, there's lots of different things. There's lots of different things that drive people. And also those opinions change depending on whether or not you have kids actively in the school system right now, or whether they pass through, or they're now in middle and high school in a different town. What does all that mean? So, and then at the next meeting, what we'll do is we will spend all of our time, we'll do the norms, and then we will spend all of our time talking about those questions and making plans.
Do we have some kind of scope of, I know we are going to talk about what we want for our communities, but I think there's an overarching, like what the state sees for our communities in the future, because I think there's some significant economic hurdles that we're supposed to be, and I know they're having bigger state meetings or community meetings for different regions to kind of talk about where we're going with education in Vermont. So I kind of feel like we should have a good understanding of what we want is what should drive it, but I really feel like the state kind of sometimes puts these task force together knowing what they want in the end, and I think that we need to hit that head on, because I don't want to spend time, if the state's got issues with school sizes and numbers, then I don't want to be wasting time
Collecting
with trying to talk about we want this and we want that, when at the end of the day, there is going to be a hard line that comes down on small schools.
Well,
It's here. It's
VPR
here.
on the way here
I
about
bet you did.
consolidation.
Second round, third round, fourth round.
Yeah.
That's why it's better for us to act in advance where that mandate comes out. Because the mandate could be a lot worse.
Yeah.
Truth.
Is there something online we should be reading up on to know is there a strategic plan that we should see, or something that's constructive?
So yesterday, the head of the Department of Education, the Secretary of Education, spoke to the legislature. So if you look online, there is on YouTube, there's actually the slideshow.
I can send it out.
That would be great.
DED just did a great article as well about using the town of Rochester actually as an example of what small schools and small towns are going through and what the future of budgets look like. So that's where I just want to make sure we are really going to hit this at the end of the day.
We'll keep it in reality. On the other, and I always say, it's a great place to live in Vermont because it's a small state and you can get things done really fast. The bad thing about living in Vermont is that it's a small state and you can get things done really fast. Having lived through that for many years, let's do this, and with no regulations and no guidance, and then you go out and you do it, and then you come back and say, oh no, you did it all wrong, you got to do it this way. So we got to keep that. But I also think that there's a lot of information here, regardless of what comes from the state, that can really help guide your communities as you move forward. So I think that's good. So what we'll do is we'll put together a folder in Google Docs, and that will also be a place where I would say let's get some of those, if you can upload the YouTube videos and articles and things like that, and then we'll and let your colleagues know. I would, if you want to, just go and make a group email kind of thing together for this crew, and then any information like that you come across that you think would be interesting, I think we should share, and then just make sure people know that you shared it. Specifically me.
And there's a Digger article about it.
Because I want to read it. But it's
timing.
It's just stunning right now.
You can also go online to the Vermont Agency of Education.
Yes.
And they
Should I share the
have tons of
folder?
information
Let's see what that is.
where they're going, what they should be doing,
there's
what
no
they're not
hiding
doing
in there,
right.
but they'll just
It's
have
pretty
plenty of
interesting.
Yes, from
It's rabbit
Burlington and Montpelier's perspective, they definitely have a
Does
good
anybody not-
for the Agency of Education use.
If you're in the big city.
If you're in the city, you got Burlington, right?
Right.
But unfortunately, Burlington represents Burlington and the suburbs of 50% of the state's population.
Yep, I know.
So,
Crazy.
Does everybody have access to, if we put this in Google,
Yes.
to be able to get into stuff? Awesome. Okay. So let's do that and then just share. And you'll get your homework assignment again tomorrow in an email. So
Thank you.
with everything. And you should get the agenda. If you don't, we need to know, because sometimes that gets kind of screwed up. But that'll come, no, not from you, it's Taylor gets it. Well, sometimes I don't get it, because I wrote it somehow, I don't get it.
Oh, that's happened to me before.
So, we good?
Snacks for next time? Who's bringing snacks?
Oh, who's bringing, yeah, okay, who's bringing snacks next time? You guys need to grab something. Food is important. Megan, did you just volunteer?
I'll volunteer for favors. I was just shaking my head, but I'll figure out something.
Okay, 5 o'clock, 2 weeks from tonight.
It's my fault.
End early unless people have questions of me. You're welcome.